What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. So, why do I talk about relationships? In a lot of my videos, I talk about intergender sexual dynamics. And the reason simply is because we are biological entities and we are also sexual beings. So, relationships are such a prominent role within our lives. And so much of what we do is consciously and subconsciously motivated by intergender sexual dynamics. And I want to delve into this a little bit more. So think of it like this. When a man tries to make a lot of money, when a man tries to become a success, whether it be in the music industry, whether it be in the corporate industry, whether it be in sports, athletics, basketball, soccer, whatever it is, in the back of that man's mind is going to be more times than not women. Women is the motivating factor for that man to become a success to at least some degree. Now, there's obviously going to be comfort, living the good life, but women is a big part of it. Some men are consciously going to be thinking, you know, I want the money, cars and girls, like that Drake song. And that's going to motivate them to be better. But even people like myself, you know, I like to think that I'm not obsessed with women. You know, I'm not obsessed with women. I know that. And also, I like to think that I do things from a self-motivational standpoint. But there is that caveat. I am a biological entity. I'm not exempt from that. I'm in a biological body. Therefore, I'm a sexual being. And therefore, at least on a subconscious level, my motivation and drive subconsciously is to attract a mate. Whether I like it or not, these are the chains that we are in. You know, you could see it as a chain, you could see it as a motivator. And when I say chain, I don't mean that I don't like the fact I'm attracted to women. I love women. But when I say chain, what I'm saying is we can't escape from it. It's something we can't escape from. That's the analogy that I'm trying to explain. So even if I say to myself consciously, I'm not trying to attract any women, I'm going to be single for the rest of my life, and then I'm going to go and make something of myself, I'm still not exempt from the subconscious. My subconscious is doing it because it wants to attract a mate. So consciously, I'm saying I'm never going to get with women again. And that's not what I'm saying, by the way. I'm just using an example. But let's say my conscious, I say to myself, I'm never going to get with any women again. I'm just going to go and make something of myself for myself. Because I'm still a sexual being and I'm still a biological entity, I'm still doing it on a subconscious level to attract a mate. We can't escape it. That's why I talk about relationships, because whether you want to attract a mate consciously, or whether you're a man or a woman who doesn't want to attract a mate, wants to be single, or doesn't want to have children, that doesn't want to reproduce, even in that instance, when you don't want to reproduce, your subconscious still doesn't know that. So you could be a guy who doesn't want children, who wants to make something of himself, or a woman who doesn't want children and wants a life partner but doesn't want to have children. The subconscious is still in play, and the subconscious doesn't know that. The subconscious still wants to attract a mate for reproductive purposes. It's that simple. Because what format are we operating on? What format and what software are we operating on in order to attract someone else? What is the basis of that? The baseline, the basis, and the format for that is reproduction. Because that is what allows the species to continue. So at the end of the day, even if you think you don't want children or you don't want to attract a mate, the actions that you take are still hardwired to attract a mate. Now, This is why I talk about relationships. Relationships are so important. Intergender sexual dynamics, so important. I can say to myself, I want to be single my whole life. I don't want children. I'm going to go make something of myself. The biological motivator is still to attract women, and so that for reproductive purposes. The same is on the other side for a woman. Let's say a woman wants a life partner and she doesn't want children, but what all the attraction rituals that take place is on the old software of reproduction. It's just you consciously know that you don't want to do it. So this is why I talk about relationships. Now, here's the caveat. Here's the other caveat. You can hijack your biological motivators for self usage. So that is the caveat. Now, I could say to myself, you know, I know that my body is doing X, Y, and Z to attract a mate for reproduction to carry on the species. But let's say I don't want children. I'm not saying that's the case. Let's say I don't want to attract a mate. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm going to use my subconscious and my biological motivators, hijack it, and use it as drive to achieve my goals for my own means to an end. You see, I want to become a business owner. Let's say that. I know that my subconscious is doing it to attract a mate. I'm not gonna fight it. I'm gonna use it as motivation. I'm gonna use it as drive. I'm gonna use it to get up in the morning at 4 a.m. So that's the caveat. Although we can't escape it, we can use it as power and motivation and drive. So why do I talk about relationships? I talk about relationships because intergender sexual dynamics are so important. Whether you want a relationship, many people want relationships. Whether you want children, many people want children. Whether you don't want relationships, whether you don't want children, but we're still hardwired that way. We're still hardwired that way. We are not animals, so we can have that conscious energy where we can say, I can say to myself in the English language, I'm not saying this is the case, but I can say to myself in the English language, I don't want a family. As in, I don't want to procreate. I don't want a life partner, or I don't want a family. That's not the case, by the way, but I'm just saying. I can say that. I can say I don't want a family. I don't want a life partner. But I understand that my subconscious is still motivating me to achieve that. So I'm going to hijack it, use it for my own means to an end. That's what you can do. But this is why I talk about these things, because we can't escape it. We can't escape our biology while we're here. We can't escape our biology. We can't escape the hardwiring of our subconscious. Let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. Hit the notification button so you get a notification when I make a new video. If you appreciate my work and want to leave a donation, there's a link for that in the description with that. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.